is 9, 4, 7.
All right, the first thing I want to address is Winston's entrance in Wakanda Forever. Vegans across the world are going to be really happy with you. They're going to be like, there he is, guys. He walks in chomping on a carrot. Yeah. Now, when things like that happen in movies, I always want to ask, were you told to do that? Or is that something you're like, you know what, I'm going to walk in eating a carrot?
You know, a lot of my work comes from happy accidents, happy accidents and improv. This one in particular came from, they did want me to eat something. They were like, we think you could just come in eating something. We think that would be funny. And we played around. So they wanted me to eat like a purple broccoli stalk.
Okay. And no, wouldn't have had the same effects. No.
Gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, I'm not doing like 20, 30 takes of eating broccoli. You know what I mean? So once I just picked the carrot and it snapped. And I was like, I could also point with this thing. It's also, I got a lot of range with this bad boy. So we stuck with that one.
So when you say happy accidents, because I also heard the way you describe your role and, the things that come out of your mouth is that, imagine the movie's like this pressure cooker and you guys are all in it and every now and then you release steam. I love that analogy because it's so true. Every time you come on, as much as you may be delivering something serious, we're going to laugh. Is that also a happy accident?
Yeah, well, I tend to find the irreverent in a lot of these scenes. Like I like playing in a space where he gets to be, in some ways, the most honest person in the scene. I like that in some ways I see him as the audience getting a chance to speak. And if they could, they'd be like, why is this happening? Who is that? Why is this so complicated? Do this, And, him being this Igbo man incarnate. I feel like I have a responsibility to be the most direct.
Oh, yes.
In the movie.
The one who's not filtered.
The one who's unapologetically himself, So that's where that lives.
What I love, Lupita, is when you spoke about Nakia at the press conference, you said she's the one you call, when you want to get things done, right? Now, I want to know, what did Nakia do for Lupita? Because I feel like Nakia may have been a lot more healed than Lupita was.
Yeah.
Did Nakia bring Lupita along?
Oh, Nakia definitely did. I love that, how you asked that question. When we started this movie, it was a few months after Chadwick's death, and I read the script, and I was like, oh man, I have to be the grown one. I have to be the one who's grounded and who has a hold on her emotions. And I wasn't feeling that way. I was feeling quite chaotic. I was feeling just still very unsettled with Chadwick's passing, and I was definitely dreading going back to Wakanda because of all the things it was going to bring up. And here's Nakia, who is like very centered, kind of zen. Exactly.
She's
Yeah, and so in playing her, one of the first things I thought about when I was getting ready to play her was actually Chadwick Boseman's wife, Simone Boseman. I had experienced her at the memorial, and there was something she was more knowing than the rest of us. Okay. And I thought to myself, if she can do it and it's real life, I can do it in a world of make-believe. And in the process of playing Nakia, I think it really did bring me a lot of healing because I had to access something outside of myself. I had to seek to understand what I couldn't at that point. And in so doing, once you understand something, it's like riding a bike, you can't unlearn it.
Yeah. And what is it about the set of yours, guys? You guys say such wonderful things. It feels like it's Christmas all over again, Dana is saying that even on days when she wasn't shooting, you guys would just still come and see how somebody performs in a scene, What cult has Ryan created, and how do we become part of it, Winston? Talk to me.
It's an easy movie to talk about. I've been a part of projects that it feels really hard to get people to come out of their real life troubles and real life circumstances to say, come watch this thing.
Yes.
This movie is an easy one to say, come watch this, come experience this. It teaches something. It asks questions. It leaves you in a place different than where you started.
Yes.
It takes you on a journey. It's about something that's very current. It's about a big universal idea, grief. It's about real things that you're going through. All of us are going through, coming through from the last 3 to 4 years of COVID and pandemic and real loss, even a loss of, normalcy.
Yeah, income, friends. And not even that they died, they just moved elsewhere.
Everything has changed.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think we're all grieving something, and it's really good to know that it's okay, and it doesn't have to look any particular way, and that there's no real clean way to come through it. You just have to go through it, and it's these conversations. I think that's one of the superpowers, you can say, of a story and narrative like this, even from Black Panther 1, is that it's so full.
And also, you said this after Black Panther 1 and then COVID, it's okay. It just made everything look so normal. Like Black Panther 1 was like, okay, just, now you can afford to go extraordinary, which I feel you guys did with this one. Because we just don't want anything normal anymore.
Yes, and it's easy to then be on set with people that you respect, even from that day one of first day on set. You turn left and it's Angela Bassett. You turn right, it's Forrest Whitaker. You look up center, it's Lupita Nyong'o.
Michael B. Jordan.
It's just Chadwick Boseman. It was just, who do I look at next? You know what I mean?
Yourself. You look in the mirror. That's Winston.
Beautiful. Perfect. But,
Ryan also spoke about how he loves the fact that you guys refuse to let the integrity go and you hold him to account with it. And that's why, a project like this can exist, because your guys' integrity keep him honest. Now, I have to speak about the blockbusterness of it all, because we can speak about, the vibe on sets and how you guys get along and, what it did for you guys and what it's going to do for the world. But let's talk pure filmmaking now. This is a brilliant movie. This is cinematic brilliance. Lupita, can you unpack that for me? Brag! I'm saying brag!
Well, I'll brag by bragging about Ryan. Ryan is, what's so interesting about Ryan is that he's so open, so vulnerable, and he only really does films about things that he's asking of himself, He's really curious about humanity, has an empathy that is astounding. And so his honesty, I think, is what comes through in these stories. And despite all that, he's an enigma. I have no idea how Ryan does anything that he does. I'm part of the process, and I'm just like, I don't understand how you arrive at these things. But one of the things is, I think one of the things to explain that is that Ryan surrounds himself with people who are experts in their field, but he also surrounds himself with humane people, Like, I was thinking about that the other day when I was listening to him talk about Tenoch and hearing Tenoch talk about his people and his perspective, and I realized, Ryan doesn't just look for talented actors, he also looks for actors who have empathy and are able to express something of themselves in the playing of the characters, and I think that is key, and in the crew that he surrounds himself with, they too have something really just extreme empathy and are interested in being uncomfortable in order to find discoveries. Nobody's resting in the loins of their talent. Everybody is hungry and ready to work and collaborate. So his way, his superpower is collaboration.
Relying on this collective consciousness.
Yes, collective collaboration. Yeah.
There's one question I'm going to ask after that that's going to yield a better answer. So I'm going to just wrap it there and say, guys, thank you so much. It is a wonderful project. Just in the cinema, I told this to Ryan, I said, there's moments where it goes silent, right? And, you could, yes, obviously he's doing it to use a message, to get us in our field. But every time we went silent, we could hear each other cry, right? And it was just a community, I love things like that. And I think that's why social media, the good part of social media is the community around with it. We can chat about the same things that we're experiencing. And I think this is it. This is Wakanda Forever movie. It's we're all going to experience it together and talk about it and laugh together and cry. And in African culture, anytime when you can bring people around the table to do the same thing, you have succeeded. So thank you guys.
9, 4,